Makes you wanna go. Makes you wanna go. Na 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 na. Makes you wanna go. Wait a minute.
Hey, Mickey G. How are you today?
I am very well. Excited to be here. How are you?
I am blessed. Anytime you wake up, it's a blessing.
Get another chance to get it right.
That is right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate the Best Coast host this side of the Mississippi River.
Thank you so much. Best host.
Thank you, everyone, for stopping in today to see what we are gabbing about on Gab with Goldnbronze. We do appreciate it. We know you could have clicked that dial and ended up on any other channel, and you decided to come see us today to see what we're talking about. We do appreciate it. Gab with Goldnbronze is a sponsor of Golden Swan Cadre, which is a domestic 501c3 nonprofit organization which advocates against domestic violence towards women. But we don't stop there. We advocate for women and women's health issues, including mental health, maternity health, self-care, and mindfulness. And in doing so, we collaborate with domestic violence centers in Texas. Once ladies are discharged or released from those centers, they are released right back out to the world with what they came with, which is usually the clothes on their backs. So what we do is we step in at that point and try to help them through their single family head of household journey for 12 months. We usually adopt 4 to 6 families a year and try to help them with furnishing their apartment, one room, and we call that adopt a room. We do the one room because we really are partially self-funded, and we also have support from Blue Cross and Blue Shield with community grants, I think is what it's called. But our pockets are not really deep, and that's why we're here, because we're trying to solicit donations from the general population, $1 on up. We hope that you would find what we do very beneficial and donate more than $1, but every dollar adds up. So we will not turn down anything. We also provide needs lists to domestic violence centers as well. So they'll reach out to us and say, can you give us hair care products or deodorant, toothpaste, or panties and bras, or, whatever their needs is for that center. They will reach out to us to ask if we can do those little things like that. And we also have community partners throughout the communities that we serve. A lot of recreation centers will reach out to us and ask for Easter baskets or Halloween candy or Valentine's things, Christmas gifts, or whatever we can donate for turkey dinners. Sometimes we just simply donate our time with community Thanksgiving dinners and things like that. So we just need a little help in doing that. That's why we're here. We're soliciting your support. And with that being said, I would like to say that we decided to talk about some of the social distractions in 2024 that affect people's focus and their mental energy. For instance, constant connectivity via social media. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and X, formerly known as Twitter, are filled with endless updates, notifications, and messaging features that keep us users plugged in and distracted from in-person interaction or focused tasks. So like I know for me, for instance, I'm on just about all those platforms, and every time someone posts something or comments, I'll get ding, 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 ding. And when you're on 7 platforms, it's ding, 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 ding. And that was very, very annoying, even to me. So I went on my notifications and turned them off on my phone. So I'll see it when I see it. So I'm sure if it distracts me, it distracts people around me that are either in the room or in the office space or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a distraction.
We don't shut off our social media. A lot of us don't. And
I
so
know.
we want to stay connected to what's going on.
Yes.
Ear to the ground, but the ground is making noise.
Right.
You're kind of distracted.
Getting on my
Yeah,
nerves.
yeah, getting on your nerves.
Yeah.
So there's so many different platforms that you can get
Yes.
information from. So let's say 6 different platforms being in your phone,
Right.
and you're trying to get things done. What happened? What happened? What happened? What
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
So we get highly distracted doing that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. But something that really bugs me is online group chat and messaging. Listen, the forums like WhatsApp, Discord, and Slack, people are constantly in chat groups which create a constant buzz of activity, gossip, memes, and notifications. I get invitations or I get pulled into these groups in my messenger I've never heard of.
Same
And
here,
so, yeah.
Mickey.
And then WhatsApp is sending me things from foreign phone numbers. I don't know what that is. And so I didn't join any of these things, but they're bombarding my social media. They're bombarding my phone or my computer, and I didn't ask to be there. And so, how did I get invited to that kind of stuff? And it just comes up. Want to join this chat? You want to join that chat? It must be the algorithm. The
You know
algorithm.
what I think it is? I think it's like people will join the chat and then add you to it as add a friend, add a friend, add a friend, add a friend, when maybe they're not a friend, they're just a social media friend, right? So it's like I'm not interested in whatever it is that chat is about. But I think that's how we get added. And the other distracting thing is when if it's 1,500 people that they added to that chat, every time 1,500 people comment, you're going to get a notification.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
very distracting. But there
Yeah.
is also this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out. I'll finish when we come right back.
Okay.
Okay, we have returned and thank you. As I was saying, fear of missing out, social pressure to stay updated on the latest trends, events, and activities pushes people to stay online all the time, scrolling through feeds and attending social events they might not have otherwise prioritized. Now, I'll elaborate a little bit. You remember I sent you something last night, and it falls under this fear of missing out. Why did I pick up my phone at 1 o'clock in the morning to look at it? I should have just done what I was getting ready to do and go back to sleep. So not only was I like disturbed, I decided to share it with you at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's that kind of thing. I'm not the only one that does that. It's other people that might be up at 3 a.m. and then all of a sudden your phone is ding. You look at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I did it last night. So I guess if I didn't have the fear of missing out, I might as well let my co-host share.
Yeah. Well, thankfully your co-host was knocked out cold solid. I didn't hear it and I didn't get it until this morning
Right.
sometime. You said, well, I sent it last night. I was sleeping.
Right.
But also sometimes we see things online and we send it to someone because we don't want to forget to send it to them. So it might be the middle of the night because we ran across this great post or this great idea. And so we send it to someone so they wouldn't miss out on it. So they won't have
That
FOMO.
sounds good. I didn't want you to miss out on it.
That had to be what it was. So thank you. I'm so glad I got it this morning. Oh boy. Well, that is an issue, but also digital comparison culture. The rise of influencers and curated content on social platforms encourages comparison, leading to some spending time distracted by what others are achieving and showcasing and doing. So
Yes.
influencers. So the word itself tells you they're
Yes.
influencing others to follow what they're doing. And so oftentimes people compare themselves to what people who have a large platform are doing. So since they're influencers, someone is following their lead. And so if they're doing that, other people want to do it too. but they may have access to different things that other people don't. And you cannot really compare yourself to them because your journey is not the same, your access is not the same, your reach is not the same, your initial friend group is not the same. And so we end up comparing ourselves, let's say, to the skinniest person. Oh, I need to lose weight. Oh, here's this weight loss pill or what have you. You know, they have a certain outfit from a designer. So whether you can afford designer clothing or not, you strive to get what they're advertising. Well, I want that Gucci bag. Well, you make $6 an hour. How you gonna get a Gucci bag? You know, so
They
it's
buy.
not, well, yeah, that might be the main goal.
That's a different podcast. I mean,
Yeah,
different
but
podcast.
yeah, but you know, they're comparing themselves to people who might have different access to things, and it's not really healthy, in my opinion.
And the other thing about digital comparison culture is if you're following an influencer, that means that you've already been influenced in some kind of way. So digital influencers, they post all the time. They post 10 times, 20 times a day because the objective is for them to increase their algorithms, get more followers. And then that every time they post, you're getting ping, 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 you know, and that distracts you from because if you're at work, okay, you've lost your focus, so you're going to pick up your phone and see what this person who you admire is doing, talking about, or posting about. Now you're engrossed for 10, 30 minutes in looking at your phone while at work or wherever, and your productivity from your job is going to be reduced because you have lost focus and you are now paying attention to your digital influencer. So that's a very, very valid point.
Right. Even in
Now,
school.
yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about virtual communities once before, but platforms like Discord or MMORPG games provide social communities that can be immersive, but also distracting when time is spent socializing in the gaming expense of real life engagement. And I mention that because I have a relative, a grandson, who he's been gaming for a long time. That's his sport and his pastime, like after school, after homework, after dinner, he goes and his mom, my daughter, has set up a whole gaming system for him with his own monitor and the little thing that they,
Yeah.
remote, whatever
The
it's called.
controller.
And
Yeah.
it looks so real life, but it immerses his attention. I've actually stood back and watched him. The screen, it must be 4K, the high definition. And like when they're doing basketball games and things like that, it looks like the real basketball players out there. But he's talking to other people in that gaming society. And I was like, who are you talking to? And my friend that he's playing basketball against or driving a car against or whatever is very, very time consuming. So it takes away from his focus. But I know his mother won't let him do it until school is, homework is done and basketball training is over and all that kind of different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know what's kind of frightening about that, and there are pros and cons to that, but the fact that they can talk to people online, it's good that he's communicating with his friends, but who else is there? I'm thinking about predatory people who are there talking to these young people. And what are they saying to them when maybe their parents aren't present or they have their headphones on? What are they saying to them? So that's one thing that kind of makes me a little nervous about that. But I'm sure your daughter is in control of that kind of thing, but
Yeah,
not
we've had
every.
that conversation,
Right.
and
Yeah.
she said it's his classmates and his cousins, that little circle of friends, but she does monitor it. And she goes in that room, all the time. He'll close his door, but you can hear him, oh man, making all this loud noise. That's distracting, but it's
Yeah.
fun. And sometimes I'll get up to go see what is he excited about.
Yeah.
But she goes in the room a lot, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Um, I will say real quick before we go that Discord was good for us during the pandemic. My children lived in another state and then they moved to where we were, or even when they were in the other state, they had games that we could play together
Yes.
across the miles online and it would connect us together. And this is primarily during the pandemic. And so that way we stayed socially connected. We played games, we had fun. And so I liked it for that reason. And so that
Yeah.
was a pro for me, in that area. So
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk more when we come right back.
Okay.
All right, so thank you for returning. So I finished what I was about to say about that. So, Mickey, you have the floor.
Okay. Well, as I was saying before about the influencer culture, social distractions stem from the constant need to follow influencers, content creators, and trends in lifestyle, fashion, and entertainment. The desires to stay relevant can pull focus from tasks that you need to do in real world situations. So, as I was saying, you do try to follow people who are doing things they're in, the in crowd, and a lot of times it distracts young people
Yes.
who are watching, let's say, people in the entertainment community, let's say Hollywood, Atlanta, wherever it is, and maybe they're driving certain things, and maybe they have a lot of jewelry and etc. And they aspire to do those kinds of things. But I have heard that sometimes those cars that they show on those videos, they're renting them. They don't own
Yes.
them. And
Isn't that right?
so
Yeah.
and maybe some of the jewelry is borrowed. Even
Yes.
on the award shows, the Oscars,
Oh, they are. Yeah.
right, they're borrowed. All those diamonds are borrowed. And so if people are seeing that and thinking, "Oh, I need to have something just like that," understand, honey, it's not real. It's not always real.
Right.
So following people who you don't even understand where they got it or how they got there or what it is, that might be detrimental, especially in a developing mind.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to just elaborate a little bit about those notifications. And I
Mhm.
just want to say that not only are the digital notifications distracting, you get your email and your text messaging and your banking and uh, whatever else business you do on your phone. On top of that, with the digital social notifications, it just takes away from your focus on real world interactions. And I won't elaborate too much on it.
Right, right. Well, I agree with you. Ding, 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 ding. We talked about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, in conjunction with that, how about event overload? With virtual meetups, social media challenges, and constant updates on social events from concerts to online streaming parties, many people feel the pressure to engage in multiple activities, sometimes neglecting important responsibilities. Well, 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 what have we here? So I get notifications for things to do around town. And I think the algorithm, I blame the algorithm, I could be wrong, picks up on things that I might be interested in and
Yeah.
sends me these different things. And I might say, oh, I'm interested or I'm going, etc. And I think once you do that, then it connects to other things that are like that. And so you have all these things to do that they're showing you, but it might interfere with what you have to do. And so you're getting all these invitations from everywhere. So that can be distracting as well.
Yes. And all I can say to that is I don't answer 'em. I just like delete. Yes. Because I'm telling you, you can only handle so much. But the parasocial relationships, people often develop one-sided emotional connections with celebrities. And like you mentioned, the influencers or content creators investing significant time in following their lives or engaging with their content rather than focusing on their own personal relationships. And this is true. You can just be just mesmerized by this celebrity or influencer. And as you mentioned previously, all of that could be make believe or rented or for show, for likes, for followers, for not for real,
Well, not for real. You're right.
but we're just engulfed in what they're doing and gets distracted from improving our own personal relationships and lives with the people around us every day. Yeah.
Right. The real people who we can touch and see and call on the telephone. You
Right.
can't touch and see and call them on the telephone, although there are stalkers. We're not talking about them.
Right.
But even they go as far sometimes as to have plastic surgery to look like that person, or
Yes.
have their name tattooed on them or their likeness tattooed on their bodies. You
That's
know,
something of an obsession. That's
yes,
yes.
yes, and that person might be a passing phase. It might be the thrill of the year for that person. Then the following year or two, no one knows their name, but you have their face tattooed on your face.
Girl, get
Really,
out of here. I can't understand
really.
tattooing that.
I,
A face on your face. Okay.
yeah, it's. I've seen a name
I
across
know.
someone's
I have.
face that's 2 or 3 inches high. It's like, really, really. So, that's not reality. That you would do that and risk not being able to be employed by getting their likeness all over your body and all over your
I know.
face. But that's a whole other thing. I
It
might be going
sure
a little
is.
extreme.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But in addition, I'm sure you've seen this, the pressure to document life. The need to constantly share life events on social media can turn real life experiences into performances, distracting from fully enjoying the present moment.
Yes.
Like, I had this spaghetti today.
Yes.
I brushed my teeth. Look how I did my hair today.
Right.
I'm going to the store now. I'm going to,
Yeah.
I'm tying my shoes. Look at these new shoes I have.
Yeah.
I woke up sad. I went to bed. I'm tired. Constant updates. Now, some of that I get is social media, so that means you're
Yes.
being social. But every little thing that happens in your day and in your
Look
life,
at me kiss my loved one.
yeah,
Watch us eat ice cream together for an hour.
yeah, all of that, and we've discussed. Let's see, this particular person that's on social media doing all of that. You know, all they're doing. First, they were doing a lot of things just themselves, and I, I I think it was all for attention,
Yes.
but not necessarily good attention, in my opinion. And now
Yes.
they have this woman that they're involved with, and they're showing them constantly doing things. And to me, if you're showing that too often, are you trying to convince someone that something is true? So,
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, when you document something over and over and over again, like, look at us, look at us, look at us. We're doing this. We're eating ice cream. We turn to the left, we turn to the right. We're wearing matching clothes today. So,
Right.
yeah,
I never thought of that.
kiss me on the forehead, kiss me on the cheek. Ooh, yeah,
Right.
this woman, this man, it's okay to be in love and share that because, from time to time I share little things. But to do that constantly, and people don't want a diet of all of that. You can give someone too much sugar or too much of anything, it'll make them sick.
You're
So,
absolutely right because I've gotten to the point where I'm happy for you, but I don't want to watch this. I'm happy
all
for you, but I don't want to watch it all day, every day. Show me something interesting and that I
yeah,
can learn from and that
yeah,
I might want to try myself. But I'm so happy for you, but we'll be right back.
okay.
Okay, thank you for returning. And I'm so very happy for them,
Yeah,
but you can only watch so much of that. So these
yeah,
social distractions blur the line, like you said, between the digital and the real world reality. How much is real? How much is for showing attention and followers and likes and all of that as people juggle the demands of staying socially connected and maintaining focus and well being. And so, with all of this social distraction, there's also in 2024 several newsworthy distractions which have garnered attention, reflecting from global events, technological tech shifts, and cultural phenomena that divert public focus. So we have like the US presidential election that has generated constant news cycles with campaign updates, debates, controversies, oh boy, and social media discourse dominating the headlines. The focus on political theater often overshadows more pressing policy discussions. And what I've been seeing lately, there's not been a whole lot of policy discussions going on, and some really ridiculous conspiracy theories and controversies. And I have gotten to the point where I just like, I can't do this today. I have to disconnect from this. Is
right.
this really a presidential campaign? Or are we talking about people eating babies and dogs and cats? And
Not
really?
even true. Not even true. Yeah, and I feel like we're in a twilight zone. I've never seen anything like this before, where it is on certain hands, it's a contest of personality, or how much mud can we sling, how many lies can we tell, how many conspiracy theories, how can we can spread otherism with people and dividing people. It doesn't seem like I haven't heard a lot of policy in some areas as to what is going to be done for me, rather than seeing mud fly across the
Right.
airways. And I'm exhausted. I'm totally exhausted.
Yeah,
I can't watch it, and it triggers something in me, just, anxiety and exhaustion, really.
me too. And I think that's what it is. I already know who I'm going to vote for. I don't want to hear all of this rhetoric and mudslinging and people calling people that are very smart dumb.
Right,
And
right,
she's,
right.
I just can't do it. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
I've already made up my mind. We're close to the election. We don't need this. We kind
yeah,
of pretty
yeah.
much know who's going to help us and
Yeah,
who's going to help others and themselves that are
right,
the 1%. So
right, right.
yeah, we get
Yeah,
distracted with that.
yeah.
Yeah,
But may I add something else about that? It's dangerous. It's
yes,
putting people in danger when you target certain people and you say this person is a problem or that group is a problem, and so it dog whistles to certain groups to go after that group or
right.
that person, and it could be very dangerous because these people are innocent, just trying to go about their lives, and when you other them to people, it puts a target on them that's not fair. And
Right.
so if you're doing that and not talking about clear policies as to what you're going to do for me and how you're going to do it for me, and I don't just mean me, but the masses of us, not just one group, but all of us.
Yep.
So that becomes very exhausting. I'm not interested in mudslinging politics. I'm interested in the truth. You
And you
know.
call it dog whistling, and I call it cat calling. But I like you put out the cat call, and let's divert from the
Yeah,
facts and let's talk about the people eating dogs and cats.
that
Like,
are not.
really? Okay, I
Yeah.
digress. What else we got to talk about, Mickey?
Okay, well, let's talk about something that's really big: AI and automation. The rapid
Mhm.
advancement of artificial intelligence, particularly with generative tools like ChatGPT, DALL-E, and Midjourney, has created both fascination and concern. News outlets often cover the social implications, job displacement fears, and ethical debates, pulling attention away from other societal issues. Well, 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 this
Yep, I
AI
agree
thing,
with that.
some of it is good. And I understand that things like Siri and Google, that we talk about on our phones as AI, we can ask questions of them. Also, when you go in the grocery store and you're scanning your own groceries, that I understand is part of AI. Although when I go in those stores, if there are tellers, I like to go to the tellers because I want people to still remain employed. But sometimes we talked about crowd sizes being added by AI that probably aren't. Or I saw someone, two famous people, selling some kind of a weight loss supplement, but their mouths were moving, but the voices were not matching the mouths.
Yeah.
And one of the people, who is a doctor, said, if you ever see me selling something, then it's not true. So AI has created this image that these people are saying something when in reality they're really not.
Yeah, I think that was Dr. Oz, right?
That's who it
Yep.
was.
Yeah, I
I
saw
saw
that
him,
too.
and he and Kelly Clarkson, they're coming up on some kind of an ad about weight loss supplements, and I don't think it's them. The mouths are not moving the same way as the words are coming out. And he also said years ago that would not be him. He doesn't do that.
Right. Yep. And the fact that where AI is scary is that someone can take your picture or face, video, like you mentioned, and put it on something else. AI can move us to a whole different realm. It can be good and bad and detrimental, as you said, but also the climate crisis and environmental disasters. That climate change remains a major issue, although to some people, they don't even believe there is any such thing as climate change. Just, I don't know why they don't, where they're living, but the constant stream of news and about the extreme weather events and wildfires and floods and hurricanes and tornadoes and earthquakes where there didn't used to be earthquakes, and snow where there didn't used to be snow, can sometimes create fatigue or cause the public to lose focus on long-term environmental solutions like solving climate change.
What a novel idea. I think the people who are suffering believe in it. You know, the people with these major hurricanes and the landslides and the extreme temperatures that are cooking us. You
Yes.
know, so climate is what? Temperatures, weather, etc. And if it's changing, that's climate change. Get it? Climate change. So
And there's something causing that we need to solve that problem. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you're burning up, that's not a hoax, you know?
Well, we'll get into that when we come right back.
All right.
We are back, and thank you for joining us. As you were saying, Nikki G?
I was just saying that the people who are suffering from these different weather phenomena they believe it's real. Something real is happening in their lives, these wildfires and all these different things, extreme dryness, extreme water, imbalances in weather. You know, the people who are suffering I think they get it. But the people who are not, they can comfortably sit in their house on wherever and look at things and say, it's not real.
Yes.
You know, so you have to think about someone else other than yourself. But okay, so this is something that's reverberating in the news right now. Celebrity and influencer scandals. Scandals involving celebrities, right? Celebrity influencers or high-profile figures remain a key distraction, capturing widespread attention on platforms like X and TikTok. These stories often eclipse more serious global or local news.
Yeah, we got a lot of that going on, don't we?
Lots of that going on. Listen, the courts will handle those things. You handle your business. You handle voting. You handle going to your job every day. You handle going to school every day. And getting engrossed in things like that can distract from your life that is your real life. And dipping into someone's life, I know it's entertaining and salacious, but someone else is handling that thing. So you handle your stuff. Get in the know, but don't let it engulf you.
I know. I digress.
Please
I
do.
started to say something about the celebrity news, but I promise my show is not going to be about that. So,
No.
But the tech industry drama, tech giants like Meta, Apple, Google, and Elon Musk companies frequently make headlines for new product releases, corporate decisions, or regulatory issues. And these updates often distract from broader societal conversations about the impact of big tech. So yeah, they focus on what they want to focus on and not what's so much is important to society. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, technology is important, but who has the best and the biggest, and all those kinds of things, I think, can be a little distracting. Every time they have a new phone come out, you have to get the next one because this one now has this and this one now has that.
Yeah.
So there's technology wars in that can be distracting as well.
Well, I think Elon Musk is running number one there because I heard that he is the richest billionaire. That's why he spends his money on outer space. But congratulations, Mr. Musk.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, You hit right on what I was thinking about on space exploration. The privatization of space with companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin pushing boundaries has led to growing fascination with space tourism, moon missions, and the potential for Mars colonization. While exciting, it distracts more from the immediate earthbound concerns like climate change, for example. But who has the biggest rocket and who's going to colonize and make tourism on another planet? Please let me stay here. I'm not interested in leaving this planet for what? And I wonder now, I'm not a billionaire, not yet, but I wonder if it's just competition. I have the most money, so I can do the biggest thing.
Yeah,
That the common person that I don't think cares about that. That's stratosphere with them. I don't want to be stuck up there.
I agree. And don't they have
Mhm.
to wear oxygen masks? I mean, we need oxygen on
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah, yeah.
Our
Can you,
body requires it
yeah, can
to
you picture?
survive. So
Yeah,
y'all go right ahead on to wherever
yeah,
Mars, wherever you
yeah,
want to go.
yeah. Can you
But,
fix my life here?
right.
I just want to breathe.
Right, right. Well, they say that major global sporting events like the 2024 Summer Olympics in parts or the UEFA Euro 2024 Championship dominates global attention, and it does. And to me, I think that's a good distraction. It
Yeah,
provides brief distractions, however, from political events and economic issues worldwide. So there's a balance that is required because some things are, although they're widely publicized, may not be viewed as a distraction. You know what I mean? But it's just taking focus away from some things, like they mentioned these political distractions, which we can use some distraction
yeah,
from that. Yes.
yes. Well, I'm glad you mentioned the 24 Olympics, the Summer Olympics. There was a lot to see, but what you saw was unity with countries, different countries, and people cheering for their team. And I
Right.
thought that was something that brought us all together as the whole world. And I remember seeing in the gymnasts, Simone Biles, and I don't remember the other young lady's name. I'm sorry. They were paying homage to the
Yes.
Brazilian who got her
Yes.
first medal. I think it was a gold, and they bowed to her,
Yes.
giving her props. And that was teamwork amongst countries. If the countries could figure out how to get together like that,
Why
we can have
can't
a
we?
great
It's just
world.
people in the countries, right?
Yeah.
I hear
So
you,
there
girl.
was there was no fighting, no sabotage, none of that. Just unity, the world coming together. I was so pleased to see it. The
Yeah.
track and the diving and the swimming and all that. I was very excited for the distraction. It was fun for me.
That's what I'm saying. That was a pleasant distraction. Yes.
Yes, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Well, how about do we have? I think we have a couple of minutes to talk about crypto and financial market volatility. Cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and the rise of decentralized finance continue to create media buzz. Coverage of market volatility and economic impacts can sometimes overshadow other more stable financial developments.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it's ones and zeros. It's not money you can touch. I don't know how I feel about it. It's a big thing, but I don't understand it enough to plunge a lot of money into it. I know what I know, and I think I stay with what I know.
Yeah, and you need to get someone that does know to manage that for you if you
Right.
don't know. But
Right.
also major movie releases like TV shows, music, and entertainment trends such as the Marvel Cinematic Universe or K-pop, which I think K-pop is Korean pop. That's
Okay.
a big thing now. Often captivate public attention, pulling focus from significant global events or crises. So that's going to always be, I don't see that as a distraction in a bad way. It's
Yeah.
always fun to go to movies and watch TV shows, listen to music, go to entertainment events and things like that. But
Yeah.
let's talk about conspiracy theories.
Oh, must we? Okay. So, conspiracy theories and misinformation. In 2024, misinformation and conspiracy theories often fueled by social media, continue to be newsworthy distractions, particularly around health, politics, and global events. These can mislead the public and divert attention from credible news. And we really kind of covered that because of
Yeah,
the conspiracy about people, certain groups of people eating pets.
right.
That's abhorrent. Let's not even.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with you. So these distractions often dominate media coverage, drawing significant attention away from critical issues like healthcare, education, and international conflicts.
Yeah.
And so we felt like discussing social distractions would be very informative to everybody because we found some of it very informative to us. And I want to also say that I thank you for taking the time out to drop by and see what we're gabbing about today. We appreciate it very much. I'm going to ask my co-host to wrap it up for us for today.
All righty. I'm so glad we had this informative discussion today. That's something that a lot of people can probably use, and I learned a lot too. So, as Goldnbronze stated earlier, Gab with Goldnbronze sponsors Golden Swan Cadre. I'm going to share with you ways that you can donate to this worthy cause. So, if you're donating through Chime, put in $ Golden Swan Cadre. The G, S, and C are uppercase, so make sure you put it in that way so you can find us accurately. PayPal, enter the Golden Swan Cadre at gmail.com. You can go to our website, www.goldenswancadre.com. We encourage you to look through our website, even though you're donating, but look through and see what we're doing there. It's a worthy cause. So, in social media, we have Instagram. Visit the charity section, and find the official _ Golden Swan Cadre. Facebook, visit the charity section and find Golden Swan Cadre. So join us in making a positive impact today for very deserving women in a worthy cause. We thank you in advance.
Yes, we do. And if you didn't catch all that information today, come back tomorrow. You'll hear it again. And we appreciate you for stopping in to see what we're gabbing about on Gab with Goldnbronze. Thank you.